Alright, screw intros. Hello, YouTube, and let's just get into building a mob farm. In my last video, I nerded out really hard and explained how all the wood farming and stuff works and then jumped into it. But for this time, I'm just going to explain whatever info you need to know as we go and get into how to build, in my opinion, the best, okay, not necessarily the best, but a nice and modular mob farm. Mob farms in this game only get more efficient by making them bigger. So this is my existing mob farm in this world. So I have like 7 modules. And I really like the design because once you have a kill chamber that you can trust, you can just keep adding these modules. So if you want mobs to spawn faster, you just add more to them and that's it. But I'm going to make a new one over here so that you can see the whole process. And yeah, let's just jump in. So the first thing you got to do is decide where exactly your mob farm is going to go. Now, if you're like most players, you based at the core. And the first thing you need to know is that the whole game, nothing in the game is loaded unless it's within 200 blocks of your character. And Gorm's Circle is a pretty good estimate of what a 200 block radius looks like. So if I go to like the edge here, see that's 197 away. That's 207 away. So yeah, Gorm's Circle is almost entirely loaded if you're in your base. But do keep in mind that if you have like a fishing section of your base or like a crafting or whatever section that you spend a lot of time in, you'll want to make sure that wherever you build your mob farm is within 200 blocks of that. Alternatively, you can just AFK at your mob farm. You just put yourself in a little box that's safe. And then it really doesn't matter. You can just leave the game running for hours, which is kind of required if you want to get a lot of drops. But anyway, let's say I want to build it right where I'm standing. The first thing we have to do is figure out where our nearest chunk border is. So the whole game is done in chunks. They are 16 by 16 tiles, and the first chunk starts right at the core at 0, 0, and it goes to 15, 15, somewhere like over there-ish. So right where we are right now, we have to take these coordinates. The easiest way to do it is to just find your coordinates right now, divide them by 16, take away the decimal, and then multiply by 16 again. With a calc. Calc is short for calculator. I'm just using slang. Times 16, 64. So I want to get to negative 96, positive 64 for negative 96. How did this guy get here? So hopefully, with any luck, this block that I'm standing in right here is... I can zoom in on it to make sure I get it right. I should have zoomed in first. So, pro tip, zoom in when you're trying to do this. So I still got to go down 3. It looks like I want to be here. There. So I want to be in the bottom middle of the thing I just dug out. So I want to be there. So let's fill this back in real quick. Gotta double check one more time that I am standing in the right spot. Zoom all the way in. Hover my guy. Negative 96 and 64. Those are both multiples of 16. So that means that I am standing right now in the bottom left tile of a 16 by 16 chunk. And every module of this farm is actually going to be a small platform within 4 chunks. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to actually chunk out that one as well, and I'm going to swap all 4 of these, because that lets me see the full center of this 16 by 16 tile block, or spawning platform that we're going to create. So now I'm going to take out my shovel, I'm going to set it to 2 blocks wide, and I'm going to count out 8 in each direction, including this tile, and then dig out a 2-block moat. So from here, it's 1, or I guess it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the edge. So I want to chunk here, 8, so there, 8, so there. And then I want to connect all of these up, so just hack away. If you're wondering how to do the shovel thing I'm doing right now, it is clicking R while you have your shovel selected. You can change the size of your shovel, which is a really nice update. They used to not have that. New item, love letter. The heck is that? I've never played during Valentine's Day. To be honest, I haven't played in a while. I'm going to feel a little bit bad about this, but he has to go. Okay, so now we have our spawn platform marked out. I decided I am actually going to clear that out. And you actually don't want any torches on here. If you want to put any light in your mob farm, you're going to want to use the roofing gadget. And just kind of indiscriminately punch light blocks in here so that you can see what's going on once you've got it all closed off. You can pattern this, you can do whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. This is just the easiest way to put light in here, because otherwise you're going to be doing a lot of janky stuff, throwing torches on walls from like a block away. So, for now, we're going to call this done. This is the first spawn platform done in just location. But before we actually have anything spawning on here, what we want to do is make sure that we know that the system we build can actually kill everything that spawns in it. So, pick any block off the side of this and make a 1 block wide little avenue And we're going to send that into a kill chamber. And kill chambers are really easy in this game. You don't need to think about it too much. You don't need to do anything too crazy. Also, I brought maze block and I wanted metropolis block, so I'm going to switch that real quick. Ultimately, it really doesn't matter. I think as long as your block is a pretty high damage block, like a high damage resistance block, which you can find on the wiki. I'll put a link to the wiki. That will allow you to figure out what blocks are good. I've used metropolis blocks for all of my mob farms, and I've never had problems with the mobs breaking the walls. But I've tried with other blocks, and they have broken walls. So I recommend the metropolis block. So anyway, what we want to do right now is figure out a pathway that we can just make them wind around in, such that they're going to be surrounded by the radiation crystals. Because radiation crystals will kill off most of the mobs. We will need to finish the mob farm, like, killing chamber with galaxite traps, though. No, not galaxite traps. Crap. We will need to finish off with turrets, which we don't have. So I will warp back and get those when we're done with the setting up of radiation crystals. So I'm going to go out this far. I'm really eyeballing this, not going to lie to you. For this section, since we do have walls right next to it, we can just throw torches in it. Nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to have this loop around and then come back around this way. But I want a section of wall that the mobs will turn around in, where they're going to be around radiation crystals the whole time. So I'm going to leave a gap there so that I can get in. I did not bring a pickaxe. Son of a bitch. Can I just... Oh, God. I really should have prepared better for this. Okay, we're going to go over here. I think I can shove some lights in here and still place things in it. I haven't actually played Core Keeper in a while, so forgive me if this is super unprofessional. I don't know how much of this is going to be fixed in editing, but we'll get to it. So I'm just going to have them loop around that. And then I'll do one more of these down here that they will also loop around. So I'm going to break that out. Come down like this. Gonna give myself some more room to play with down here, like so. I'll be able to get in and out from there all I need to. This is gonna be here. And then all through here. I'm leaving this wall open right now just so that I can come back in later and throw radiation crystals in it. And that should be good to go. I want to actually fill this in, so I shouldn't put that torch there. So they're going to come through here. They're going to loop down here. And then down through this way. So this side can actually be closed off right here. And then by the time they're coming back out this way, I'm assuming they're all going to be dead. So we can close this off as well. And now we're going to place a bunch of these guys, conveyor belts, taking the mobs all the way through this little track we just built. So we're going to line the whole thing. Oh yeah, wait, that is that way. Doing these pathways backwards is actually really easy, because you always know you can just go right to the corner with the direction you're currently doing. And then go, like, the opposite way you're facing for the next chunk. So there we go. That's going to get most of our mobs killed just by these radiation crystals, which we will place right now. Which are also going to hurt me, so I got to be careful with this. So I'm going to shove one here, Ugh! And one here, and here. And then we can close that off. Oh yeah, feel that damage. Love it. And then last but not least, what we need is... There actually is an outfit. I'll put it on camera. I'll go record myself buying it, and then I'll cut to it here. Nope. It's the guy who came from this. It's this guy here, I think. Yes. Yes, immune to radioactive damage. Oh, crap, it's really expensive. Fun fact, that whole outfit is more than a full stack of coins. That's kind of crazy. Grab that. So, now we should be immune to radiation damage. Oh, that's really cool. I've never used this outfit before. Okay, so the first thing you gotta do, make sure that all of your walls are in fact closed off, like so. And this actually works out perfectly. You do want a few blocks of gap between where you're gonna be putting your turrets and the final stretch of your kill chamber. So we're gonna clear out some space over here. And we're going to take this and just have it continue on this way, all the way to here. And then I'm going to close this whole thing off in walls, like so. And one thing that you should know... Oh, this is really nice being immune to radiation. I like that a lot. Oh, I missed it. Wah! Perfect. Is that if your conveyor belts are pushing into a wall, you can go ahead and place your first robot arm right here, like so. And I can go ahead and toss a lever on it. This is probably not going to be permanent. I'll probably change this. But if... Oh, come on. If I were to drop something on here, that will actually grab it right through the wall. And that is going to be how we get all of the drops from our mob farm out to a storage system, which we will build later in this video. So for now, I want to give myself some space to work with up here. And you want at least like 5 or 6. Damn it, that's the wrong thing. And what you want to do is just lay down like 5 or 6 traps. The one thing is you need to make sure that this last tile is one that you're shooting at. So I'm just going to go 6 right here. And that's fine. And then I will throw down a lever. And even though those are all connected by the lever right now, you do want to put wires under them all. So just double click that, make sure you did in fact hit them all. Just because the mobs themselves can actually break these turrets. There are mobs that can shoot back against turrets. And if they do, if they were to break this one, and you were using it as its own wire, then this one would stop firing. And you really don't want that to happen. So make sure that you are in fact connecting all of them on top of wires. The mobs won't break the wire block, but they will break the turrets. And then you can just close it up. And in case you do need to get in there to fix turrets, what you're going to want to do, or at least what I like to do, is give yourself a corner of blocks to get into. So what I mean by that is if I go like this here, and I just don't put in... Oh, whoops, that's exactly what I didn't want to do. And just don't put in a block in a corner like that. You can just flash through it. I really should have scripted and planned this. Come on! You're kidding me! This always works. I mean, I could just use a door, but now it's a matter of principle. I am making this work, damn it. Okay. We'll go up 2 more. And then we'll go across like so. Aha! Now we're allowed to flash in here. Okay. So, that is all well and good. Oh, I can't put torches over there because I can't get over these. It's fine. We're going to leave it like that. So now, any mobs that survive the... oh, crap, I did that wrong. You don't want the mobs to be able to touch the radiation crystals because they can break them. So I'm going to go over there real quick and fix that. You won't really need to get back into this thing ever unless you build it wrong. So just don't build it wrong and you're good. Okay. Oh, doing this with this outfit is awesome. I never used this outfit before. I've never had it before. Not having to worry about the radiation damage? That's sick. Why haven't I used this? So then we will close this up like so. And now we can trust that our kill chamber will in fact kill everything. So now we can actually get to the mob farming. So I don't want this here just yet. What we're going to want to do is use whatever 8 spawn tiles we've decided to use for this particular module. Also, I want to say right now that you can use more than 8. I just like using 8 because it makes them square and it looks nice. But if you want to use more, then in either axis, simply extend it 1. And then you'll see how we're doing the stripes for our things. You can just add more stripes to it. So we're going to start up here. And we're going to move all of these onto our hotbar. I've got 8, I believe. One of them is that. So if you're going to be using the, what's the stuff called again? The mold block, then you're actually going to need your shovel as well. I'll do it last. I'll put them at the outsides. So once you've got all that figured out, you just want to go through all 8 of your spawn tiles and place them in stripes across the whole spawn platform. Since the spawn platform is using 4 different 16 by 16 chunks, by placing them all across here and just repeating the pattern again, you are placing exactly 8 of these tiles in every single one of these chunks, in all 4 of these chunks. And the reason you want 8 is because 8 is one of the most efficient numbers. Technically, you only need 7. And it goes up to, I forget what now, a pretty big number. But there's really no reason to do more than 8, in my opinion, because there's a very strong diminishing return on just how many of each tile adds to the chance to spawn more mobs. And realistically, the only thing it changes is your chance to spawn the bigger variant mob. So, for example, on the moss that I'm placing right now, usually you get the little caveling scholars, but sometimes you get those big, like, robot sentry dudes. And then this one's going to be our 8th. And those big robot sentry dudes have a much higher chance if you have up to, like, 16 of these in the chunk. But realistically, you're better off just using 7 or 8 of each thing and just letting it run for more time. Like, the stats for how much chance you get is really not that good. So I would say stick to 8. And like I said, if you want to add more than 8 different spawn tiles in here, then simply make the mob farm, in this case, 1 block longer on like that side and that side, to place your 9th or 10th or whatever. Also, a quick caveat on which spawn tiles to choose. You do not want to use the blue moss, and you do not want to build this mob farm in the desert. And the reason for that is, I'll put the graphics on screen while I'm explaining this. We're at 8 now, so we're just going to repeat the pattern. The reason for that is because the big guys with the club that spawn from the blue moss, they do environment damage. They'll break the actual ground tiles and spawn tiles and conveyor belts. So you don't want that happening inside your farm, because they'll break your farm. Likewise with the scarab beetles, so you don't want to build it in the desert. If you do want to farm those guys, there is a way to use pretty much this exact same design for a mono farm, and I will explain exactly how that works when, I guess at the end of this video, because I have a mono farm in this world for spawning in the mushroom guys, which is a really useful farm to do, because it allows you to grind out all of your melee stats really fast. Just gonna finish this up. This one is the one that I need to use my shovel for again. And we're just gonna come over here like so. And shite. Oh, it's gonna break all my tiles. Come on, man. Alright. So there we go. Now we have all this in, and now mobs can begin spawning. The next thing you want to do is to place the conveyor belts on this. I just lit myself on fire because I'm a champion. You won't let yourself on fire if you place your conveyor belts over these first. That won't burn you. But if you step on it without it, it will. So the way you want to place these conveyor belts, I tried multiple different designs on this, but I think the best way is to take whichever tile you use to go out to your kill chamber, and just do 1 stripe right away, going all the way across. I'm going to place that one first so I don't burn myself. Then along the back, place in tiles that push everything to it. So like so. And then for the entire rest of this platform, I'm actually going to place all of my conveyor belts. I lit myself on fire again. I'm going to do all the lava ones first so I don't keep burning myself. But then you want to place... Oh my god, I keep burning myself. All of them in facing backwards. And the reason for this facing backwards is because realistically, you're not farming mobs, you're farming drops. And every mob in this game of a different faction, which is like slimes are one faction, cavelings are another faction, and the crystal crust guys are their own faction, they will all fight each other. And the more mobs are fighting each other, the less strain there is on your kill chamber to keep up with however many mobs you're spawning. So, by doing this with all of these backwards, if they kill each other, it really doesn't matter how long it takes for the drop to get to you, and it will eventually get to you. All of these will push all the way that way, and then there, and then there. So you will get all your mobs, and that's really or all your drops, and that really is what you care about. So it's better to have your conveyor belts be inefficient in terms of getting you your stuff faster, but more efficient in terms of keeping all of the mobs in the spawn platform as long as possible, so that they kill each other. See, like, I'm here, they just spawned in, and most of them will all kill each other. Is he after me? Oh, he's after me. This is really cool. Shut up, dude. Oh, they're the same faction, so they won't fight each other. But yeah, so like we can see here, only 2 mobs are even still there. It's fine, though. Oh! Yo, the other guy did die. Okay, I'm gonna let the turrets kill this guy. Cool. So, we can see that it works. That's good. So, let's just finish walling off all... Oh, we didn't finish our conveyor belts. Crap. And then finally, we want to come out here and place a strong wall around the whole thing. Because while the mobs are fighting each other, as we just saw, some of them do have projectile attacks, and some of those projectile attacks do a fair amount of damage. Which means if you use a weak wall, they can break that wall, and then they can end up screwing up the rest of your mob farm. Or just hitting other stuff around, you know, just ruining your world, really. So we'll close that off, and then we're good to go. That is the whole mob farm done. First, I'll show how to extend this. So this was our first chunk of the mob farm. Now, all we have to do, if we want another one of these, is like I've done over here, is just take any, like, the starting coordinate of one of them, and add or subtract 32 to it to do another one of these platforms. And then using the same rule for conveyor belts that we did to get from the platform into the kill chamber, do the same thing into the next one. So I'll do that real quick over here. Yes. So I'll go like this, and I'll do exactly what I did before. So I'm going to grab this guy, set it to 2x2, chunk out that, and then mark these 4 tiles, and that is going to be the center of the next spawn chamber. Simply break out this wall and connect them up with conveyor belts from the first module into this second one. So you don't really need to do this, to be honest. It's not required, but I think it is better. There used to be a bug in this game, and the patch notes have said at one point that it's mostly fixed, as in fixed in some cases, but not all. So I think you are better off to act as if it is not fixed, and go ahead and give yourself a moat everywhere. So the reason I'm using a 2-block moat and then a 1-block wall is because the bug that I'm talking about allows for mobs to spawn in without collision if they're, like, kind of far from the player, like near the end of that 200-block radius. And so what happens in that case is that your mobs can spawn in the farm, and if their wandering AI is running, but their world collision isn't loaded in, then they can wander a bit off the platform. And to counter that, the bigger the gap where they're not technically allowed to stand, the better. Because when you do get closer to that mob, and the game does correct that, they'll go to whatever's closest. So with 2 blocks of gap and then a wall, you should have a very low chance of the mobs ever actually ending up outside the farm. Sometimes they will, but it's not a very common thing, so it's really not anything to worry about. That is 2 spawn platforms, fully enclosed. I didn't put spawn tiles under that one, but you know what I mean. We saw me do it for this one. And then what'll happen is these guys will spawn in, they'll fight each other, only a few people will remain, and then they'll be carried off into this one. So to continuously make this farm, all you gotta do is remember your first coordinates. In this case, it was -96, +64, and just add or subtract 32 from it, and then go build the same module again like we just did. Side note, look at my super smelter. I love this thing. This thing, as you can see, all 9 of those copper, well, 8 of them, will go onto here. Well, I guess, yeah, no, it is 8. So 1 was remaining. And it gets separated into 4 separate chains that feature every single smelter in the game. It's really nice. What is happening here, though? That shouldn't happen. Is that not powered? It's not powered! How have I never noticed that? That's been unpowered this whole time. I've only ever received 3/4 of my medals. That's hilarious. That's so funny. Anyway, not part of this video. Let's go get what we need to build a storage system. I do want that one on all the time. There's no reason not to, so I'm just going to do that real quick. But then I want to have a timing circuit that will grab another one from right here. And this whole system has to be on a clock. So we're going to build a real quick 1-second clock up here. Wires connecting those, and wires connecting these. And if I remember correctly, that is a 1-second clock. I'm wrong. Is it because this is connected? That is correct. Okay, so we're going to move this up 1 block. So let's just copy all that over real quick. Ignore that. Logic gate going down. Timer circuit going into the side of it. And then from the output of the logic gate, you want to connect into the side of the timer gate. and then also connect these two. And that is now a 1 second clock. So then we can go here, and we can take our robot arm. So this will pick up from where the last robot arm was dropping. That one can be on all the time, it really doesn't matter. But all of this stuff has to be on a circuit so that you don't end up breaking your chests. So this is going to go into a chest like so. And then to get it into the next chest, I'm going to give myself some space here. To get it into the next chest, all you have to do is place a drill pointing into it, because then any item that doesn't fit in the chest will get moved by this drill this way. And then you want a robot arm directly on top of that pointing the other way. It will go into this chest, where you will then have a drill pulling out of it, a robot arm grabbing from that one and going into this chest. And you can just continue this pattern as long as you want. So we can go here, robot arm, chest, some torches in so we can actually see it. And then if we wanted to continue it, it would just be there, robot arm, chest, and here, robot arm, chest. And then I'm going to load this chest up with something, just so that we can see what happens when an item comes in that isn't already in the system, to show that it will in fact get pulled to the next chest. Oh, we already got one of these! No way! That's huge! Okay, so how am I going to do this? Oh, this will work. Hopefully he drops something we don't already have. So let's watch this guy die. Yeah, we already have that. Hopefully we don't have one of those yet. We don't, okay. So since this chest is now full, you'll see that the one that pulls through the arm through the wall will grab it. It'll place it on top of that, get moved by this drill, and then placed in that chest. And that will just continue for this whole pattern. You can make this system as big or small as you want. And one thing that's really nice is you can actually use this to organize it. So, just like I did here by blocking out stuff, I can make this chest only usable for these things. And everything in this game stacks up to like 10,000. So one chest, like even just 1 or 2 slots of each thing, will be enough for any normal playthrough. If you do want to collect millions of things, if you're going to leave your guy AFK, you know, you're going to build like a dozen of these modules and leave your character AFK nearby it, then you can just continue this as much as you want and allocate many slots to every item. Actually, oh, wow. Okay, hey, buddy. Hey, guys. So this is an example of one of those mono farms I was telling you about. So it's the same design. I've made this whole section here, which is actually really nice to have, because I can go right here, and then with a ranged weapon, I can hit all of these guys along here, or with summoning, I can just summon guys, stand in the middle, and it hits all of these guys. This is a really good way to just get all of your melee stats. But for a mono farm, whether it was for these guys, which is a little annoying because you do have to clear out the mushrooms every now and then if you want to keep spawning in more guys. Or if it's for the blue guys, because you don't want them to attack anybody, so it has to be just the blue guys. Because otherwise, with the clubs, if they'll attack other things. I'm just going to kill these guys. But it's literally the same thing. So if you find the center of this, it is a multiple of 16. And I think I just went 8 wide and 8 across. So that is 16 of each tile in 4 quadrants. And then once again, 32 blocks over here, I did the same thing. And with 2 of these, using up 8 spawn chunks, it really doesn't take that long for all of these guys to get filled in. And like I said, then if you give yourself a platform like this one to flash onto, you can hit all of these guys and just get crazy experience super fast. I can't really show it with this account because I'm already maxed, but it is quite the way to train up all your combat stats. But yeah, that should be just about everything. Hopefully I have all the raw footage I need now, and I can edit this into a full video. So that's the mob farm. Hopefully you like it. I really like this flash with the wall trick. It's really nice. And yeah, I gotta crack on with editing and hopefully get this done by the end of the day. So let's do it.